Half-baked solutions and empty talking points won't cut it anymore. We're living in a time where politicians throw out catchphrases, tax cuts on one side, minimum wage hikes on the other, just to fire up their base. But the truth is, these aren't real solutions for the real problems people are facing every day. The times are changing, and so is the work environment. If we don't adjust both as individuals and as a society, we're going to be left behind. The debate should no longer be about quick fixes. It's time to talk about how we adapt, how we reskill, and how we prepare for a future that's already here. Let's look at one example of this.
Governor, you say trust the experts. But those same experts for 40 years said that if we shipped our manufacturing base off to China, we'd get cheaper goods. They lied about that. They said if we shipped our industrial base off to other countries, to Mexico and elsewhere, it would make the middle class stronger. They were wrong about that. They were wrong about the idea that if we made America less self-reliant, less productive in our own nation, that it would somehow make us better off, and they were wrong about it.
When experts advocated for shifting jobs overseas, particularly to countries like China and Mexico, their reasoning wasn't entirely wrong, depending on who they were talking about. For investors and shareholders, the model worked very well. By reducing labor costs, companies could increase profitability, and this benefited shareholders through higher stock prices, dividends, and other financial gains. But I think the real conversation we need to be having is about how the world has changed and how we as individuals need to keep up with it. It feels like we're stuck in this loop where politicians on both sides are offering these surface level solutions. One group says, hey, let's cut taxes so companies can create more jobs, while the other says, no, let's raise the minimum wage to help workers. But are either of these really addressing the root problem? I mean, we create a ton of jobs, but if those jobs are all paying $15 an hour and people still can't afford rent or groceries, what have we really solved? And raising wages without tackling the cost of living is like chasing your own tail. Prices will just go up, and suddenly that higher wage doesn't get you any further. It's almost like we're putting a band-aid on a broken system. What no one is talking about is the fact that the world economy has shifted. We're not living in the same environment as our parents or grandparents. Back then, you could get a job at the local factory or plant, work hard for 30 years, and retire comfortably. That's not reality anymore. The jobs of yesterday, manufacturing, simple labor jobs, those aren't coming back the same way. And if they do, they are automated or outsourced. The real conversation we need to be having is about skills. The economy of today and tomorrow is driven by technology, data, and renewable energy, healthcare, and all these sectors that need specialized skills. But here's the thing. No one is talking about that in mainstream debates. Instead of hearing how we should be adapting, learning new skills, or getting education in these growing fields, we're stuck listening to the same old debates. Cut taxes, raise wages. It's like neither of those fixes are long-term solution for people stuck in low-wage jobs. It's like putting duct tape on a leaking pipe. Eventually, it's going to burst. It's crazy that we're not talking more about this. Look, you could raise the minimum wage to $20, $30, or even $100 an hour. But if the economy itself hasn't shifted, if people aren't being trained for the right jobs, what's the point? We'll just see inflation swallow that wage increase whole. That's why I think we need to get serious about reskilling. We need to be having conversations about how to adapt to this new economy. People need to be equipped in industries that are growing, not holding on to the past. Whether it's coding, renewable energy, healthcare tech, there is a world of opportunity out there if we can shift our thinking. And it's not just about the individual either. We need to rethink how we educate people from the ground up. It's not enough to throw out short-term solutions like raising wages or giving tax cuts to big corporations. We have to invest in education and training programs that teach the skills employers actually need. Think about how much we spend time talking about stuff that doesn't matter. Fights over cultural issues, like they're eating dogs and cats. Who said what on Twitter? When the real issues that affect people's livelihoods aren't even part of the conversation. We need to wake up to the reality that the world is evolving. And if we don't evolve with it, we're going to be left behind. It's time for people to stop waiting for the next politician to promise them a quick fix and start thinking about their future in a more proactive way. You can't rely on a $15 an hour job and expect to thrive. But if you acquire skills that the world actually needs, you're setting yourself up for success. We've got to shift the conversation from quick fixes to long-term solutions. It's not about raising wages, it's about raising value. When you have skills that are in demand, you can command a higher salary and control your own economic destiny. That's where the real power is. Let's stop focusing on band-aids and start talking about how to fix the system for good. And that begins with investing in ourselves and the skills that are going to carry us into the future.